Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer, dear listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. I welcome you to yet another installment of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. It's a great episode. We're talking about cybersecurity, and I've brought an expert in the field, Mr. Douglas Sekgweng. Mr. Sekgweng, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Mr. Mogobe. The pleasure is mine.
Would you be kind enough to share your background in terms of what you do and what you have to share with the people?
Yes. My name is Douglas Sekgweng, Mr. Mogobe. I'm a digital forensic specialist and cybersecurity specialist. I'm the managing director of a company called E-Detectives. My background, I studied a BBA in IT security and also a diploma in digital forensics from the University of Penn Foster College in America, BBA in IT security from SMC University in Switzerland.
What is BBA?
Bachelor of Business Administration.
Yes. So you got two of them.
Yeah, I got two of them. So that's about it. My background also, I'm a former police officer under Crime Intelligence Branch, Digital Forensic Unit. So when it comes to cybersecurity and digital forensics, it's a space that my whole career I've been practicing. I have more than 10 years as a IT security specialist.
What first drew you to this field? It's a very interesting field, cybersecurity and e-detective work.
Yes, what we do, we provide cybersecurity consultancy. We provide training, cybersecurity training. We are accredited BQA institution. We also provide penetration testing and vulnerability assessment. We also do investigation where we investigate different
what attracted you to this field? What drew you to the field?
I have always been passionate about this spyware from watching the 007 movies as a young person. And I was fascinated by the hackers who always play around with the computer, and then they have full control of IT systems, and that's the route I wanted to take, and that's how I got to, because when I completed my Form 5, there were no institutions whatsoever in Botswana which were providing any IT security related courses. So hence my research, and then I found out that there are institutions all over the world, in America, and then I got to do online study.
In the context of Botswana, what would you say is a working definition of cyber security, and that you deal with as a forensic, a digital forensic detective? If I can call you that.
Yes. Well, cybersecurity is the protection of information and the infrastructure it resides in. So digital forensics is when there has been a cyber incident or cyber crime that has occurred using those digital devices that we have to preserve, extract, analyze, and report the digital evidence which is collected from the digital devices. So we provide security beforehand, before there is any incident that could have happened, and then after, if there is an incident that have occurred, then we also provide, there's a breach. We also provide investigation.
Does this entail also giving evidence in the courts?
Yes, it does. We are normally regarded as digital forensic experts or digital forensic examiner. We give what you call professional testimony. We have to give the our opinion, expert opinion. We are called experts witness in such cases. So in Botswana, we haven't had many cases which have gone to that end, but during private litigations, we do provide our expert opinion and provide affidavits to some of the cases that we have investigated.
In Botswana, what would you say are the areas of concern from the point of view of an entrepreneur or a business person?
The main one, which is the most prevalent, as you know, is the leakage of confidential information. As you know, the minister or the high-profile people, those in the management, they sign a document today. Before it even reaches the legitimate recipients, it's all over Facebook. Information is leaking like water in high offices. So that's the main one, and that's the main concern. The other one is the hijacking of accounts, whereby the attackers demand ransom, to be paid ransom for you to give you back access to your systems. The other one is a denial of service attack. I believe you always in Botswana hear system down. Some of this system down is because the systems have been attacked by denial of service attack, and then the legitimate users are not able to have access to the services because they've been bombarded with so many illegitimate requests from the hackers or people who are trying to poke and bring down your business.
And also speaking of cyber security, it does impinge on the area of child trafficking, or shall I say childhood pornography and trafficking of human beings. Are you involved? Is your company involved in any of these? And if so, to what extent?
Yes. Mainly for the cases of human trafficking and child pornography, those now are criminal offenses. Those we normally refer our clients to the police to handle those. Well, the ones that we only play part if maybe, let's say, the law enforcement organizations are limited in terms of maybe resources or expertise, and we have the resource and solutions to provide or assist in that regard. We have had cases before where people, because of being so tricked that they are applying for jobs overseas, and then they were applied visas and they end up going overseas, and then their family members come to us and report that our family member has long gone, there is no communication whatsoever, and then during our investigation we end up realizing and finding out that it was a human trafficking case. Earlier on, I gave an example of remember Botswana were not required visa to travel to Canada, and
there was no requirement.
There was no requirement for visa. Yeah, and it ended up being brought about because many Botswana were being trafficked to Canada by other fellow Botswana who were staying there after they promised them jobs there, and they end up using them when you are already in Canada and you are stranded, and somebody tells you, the person who brought you tells you that, well, the only way to make money is to be involved to sell you, kind of like pimp you.
In prostitution?
In prostitution cases.
You mean there are Botswana who do that to other Botswana?
Yes, there are other Botswana who do that to other Botswana, unfortunately.
And what action is normally taken against such?
Well, such cases, the one that I'm talking about, which are in mind because it happened when I was still within the organization, law enforcement organization.
You're still a member of the police?
Member of the police, yes. Well, it was reported, and the Interpol was engaged, and there was a big investigation which was done, and then the perpetrators were brought to books.
Okay. Help me understand the legal infrastructure. Is there an act of parliament, like a law, that governs cybersecurity, and if so, what is it?
Well, we have the Cyber Crime and Computer Related Act, which regulates all the information of the transmission.
The 2018 one.
No, not the 20. That's a different one.
Oh,
I think this one is for 2002. I'm not sure. We'll cross-check about that. But we have the Cybercrime and Computer-Related Act, and then we have the Electronic Evidence Act, and then we have the Data Protection Act of 2018, which as businesses, I encourage all entrepreneurs out there to get a copy of the Data Protection Act, because it clearly states that it's a criminal offense for organizations to not have measures in place to protect the data of their customers. So if we give you information as an institution, and your criminals are able to intercept and access our information through you, and it is found that you did not put the security measures in
safeguards,
yes, to safeguard, you'll be liable to a penalty of a charge of $500,000 pula. So you can imagine.
That's a terrible one.
Yes.
What are the other things you could highlight from the first two acts, if anything comes to mind?
Yeah, the other one is it is prohibited to transmit cross-border of information without.
Is that the first one?
Yeah,
the 2002 one.
No, the Data Protection Act of 2018. So it states that it is illegal to transmit or overflow of information across to other countries without the permission of the owners of that information. So for you to give out information to other people, let's say your partners in another country, you have to seek permission from me first. Otherwise, you'll be liable to
from
that
who?
fine. From me, the owner of the information that you are collecting.
Yes.
If you are collecting information about Douglas, my credit status, my legal status, and everything about me, you have to.
And does it have to be expressed in writing?
Yeah, it has to be expressed in writing according to the Act. Yes.
All right. What I wanted to ask is the other acts that you mentioned. Is there anything you can highlight from them that an entrepreneur should keep in mind?
Yes. Well, the Electronic Evidence Act. Remember that at the beginning, about 5-10 years ago, it was very difficult for you. It was rare to see any case of any cyber incident that has happened. If somebody insults you on Facebook, or somebody steals your information through WhatsApp or using the computer, you could really hear of those cases succeeding before court. That was mainly because there was no Electronic Evidence Act. Electronic evidence was not admissible in a court of law. But today, it is admissible in a court of law. Anything that, that's why hence our profession is more needed now than before, because we need to do collect that evidence in a forensically sound manner, in a way that we do not tamper with the evidence. That way it can be admissible in a court of law. So whatever you do on your digital space, know that it can also be provided as evidence in a court of law, and it will be admissible according to Electronic Evidence Act.
Okay.
Yes.
In Botswana, how serious is the problem of cyberbullying?
It is big. Not only cyberbullying, just cyber crime has increased. We are experiencing an increase of cyber crime cases at our office. And when I consulted with my former colleague at Botswana Police, he also indicated the same, that they are experiencing high cases of cyber incident. I think maybe it's because of COVID now, that everyone is now working on a visual environment. Everyone has gone digital. People are bullying each other. People are stealing each other's information. People are even hijacking each other's accounts.
Suppose somebody is bullying me and sending me unwanted messages. In the case of women, it might even be sexual harassment over, the cyberspace. What are the options? What are the available remedies, and how can a company like yours assist?
Well, you are allowed to report a case at Botswana Police. They have the capacity and they have the capability to investigate such cases. I'm proud to say they have formed a newly digital forensic lab, which has the manpower and the tools to tackle such cases. From our end as e-detectives, we can we can be engaged as private investigators to collect that evidence, and then also equip you with the skills of how to prevent such attacks from happening in the future to you or to people around you, and how to block and apply other security measures so that you can able to protect yourself and your data.
Okay.
Yes.
The cyber threats. What cyber threats are there to businesses and individuals in Botswana?
Yeah, the main one, like I said, is leakage of confidential information, hijacking of accounts and systems, and phishing scams.
Yeah, I want you, you know, I'm asking you this specifically, maybe to even highlight with examples to show how vulnerable we are.
Yes. Let me give you an example of the phishing scams that we are most also prevalent. A phishing scam is whereby you use a digital device to trick someone to...
phishing spelled P-H-I-S-I-N-G.
Yeah, P-H-I, not the one for fish.
Yes.
Is to trick someone to reveal their confidential information by sending them a malicious link, which will redirect them to you, but not the legitimate company that you purport to be. For example, if I send you an email claiming to be from a bank, your bank, that you need to update your KYC, then when you log into that, it will just, the image, the link will look exactly like your bank. But then when you enter your credentials, they will be captured and harvested and come to me instead of you having access to your bank. And then I can use the same credentials now to log in and do an attack and steal your funds. Those are some of the cases that we deal with.
I've had an incident while you're on that where I was buying something from a South African franchisor as part of the it's actually the time when we were buying these restaurants, and they would issue an invoice, say for 1 million rands, and the invoice would then come again and with a comment to say ignore that previous one, and then after the invoice they would say pay attention to who you pay to, and upon taking a closer look, after the people harassed me many times, when are you paying, I noticed that they'd given a different bank account number,
yes,
and a different address,
yes,
and they said apologies, we're still struggling with our bank, there's a problem with our account, our regular account, pay into this account instead.
yes.
Luckily I picked it before paying,
Yes.
but when we reported it eventually to the law enforcement authorities, they could not be traced.
Yes, you know, these cyber criminals are very smart. They hide their tracks, they cover their tracks, but it is likely that you were smart enough to able to identify that before you made the payment. Imagine now, how many people went through with it and made those payments. We were experiencing such high number of cases in today. So a good simple tip that I can give to our listeners out there is that always verify, do a due diligence, verify the credibility of the messages that you receive to be coming from your suppliers, your clients, your banks. For example, if it's an email from your bank, Mr. Mogobe attorneys, for example, obviously you expect the email also to bear the same domain name. Should be from
FNB, for instance.
Yeah, Mogobe at mogobe.bw, but not be to be a Gmail account. So that's how you verify.
What is so unique about what is so suspicious about Gmail accounts?
Gmail accounts is a public domain. It's not a custom-made domain. So big organizations customize their domains. If it's, let's say, FNB, it should be at it should be at fnb.com or .co.bw. If it's e-detectives, you should expect it to be at edetectives.co.bw, not when we have a website called e-detective, we have our own domain, and then I send you a message using a Gmail. It doesn't add up. That should be a red flag. Yes. Those are just small examples. Also, we call it the web of trust. The website that you deal with should have a padlock on the right hand corner, indicating that this is a secure website that you are doing a transaction with. So it's either it should have a padlock, or it should be HTTPS, indicating a S. That S is for security, that now you are transmitting, or
so
you are
HTTP without an S is a
it's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
So
the S makes all the difference.
Makes all the difference, because it shows that now you are giving out your data in a non-secure platform. Okay. So no serious or institution will use a non-secure channel to get your information.
As a father of a teenager, there's an issue that I want us to address, which is security for children. I obviously sometimes learn that my daughter is talking to questionable characters. How do I protect myself and herself from unscrupulous characters who may wish to engage with her or get involved with my daughter at awkward times, sometimes at night?
Yes, same like for TV, Mr. Mogobe. That I believe there are channels that you don't want, which are rated over 18, that you believe
when I used to watch TV, that was I don't watch much of it now.
Yes, I believe there is a parental control thing that you can activate, that they shouldn't be able to access such content. The same with the internet, the digital space. There are applications that we suggest to parents that do monitoring of their kids' cyberspace. So it will also do a parental control to be able to know each and everything that happens in your kid's laptop or phone. It will notify you, and you can also set up trigger keywords, and you can also set content restriction, which if your child accesses something which is they are below that age, you'll have a trigger message coming to your phone that your son is trying to access something which you do not allow.
Tell me, how can your company assist putting all this in place?
Well, we are available to help companies, parents, individuals out there with solutions that can help protect your company data and also monitor your kids. If it's for home use, you want to monitor your kids, we have solution which we call it Staff Cop.
Staff Cop? Yeah.
It monitors everything that happens in your network, in each device. For companies, it's an enterprise Staff Cop, which will monitor the productivity, monitor all the activities and the network, and also protect the leakage of confidential information. I always give an example that as much as you install CCTVs, apply in your physical space to monitor each and everything that happens in your physical environment.
Put alarms.
Yes, you put alarms, you put access control systems. You should apply the same solutions to your network environment, because now everything, we call it, your most valuable asset is now data, but you are not applying the same security measures as you do your physical space. So the same way you secure your physical space, you should secure your digital space to monitor each and everything that happens in your network environment.
Somebody would be concerned about cost. What would you say to someone out there who says, hey, I'm very uncomfortable, this might be an unnecessary expense or an extra expense which is difficult to get into during these times of COVID?
Yes. Well, Mr. Mogobe, with cybersecurity, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing, and you have to customize solutions as per client's budget. We have to assess first, because that has been the main mistake with most companies in Botswana, there will be somebody coming with a solution we just buy. First, we have to assess your environment, and you have to know how valuable, which are your most valuable assets, where are they placed, and then we provide you with solutions to which can be accommodated by your budget. For example, if you are a parent and you want to monitor your kids, there's a system that you can buy for $3,000, and then you have an access license for 6 months to monitor each and everything that your kids might be doing. If you are a big company and you make a revenue of 100 million a month, obviously when your system is down because of a cyber attack for a day, you are losing out on over 2 million of revenue. So there are solutions that you can put and implement in place that can safeguard your data that suits your budget. It all depends.
Is there some kind of guideline or maybe a thumbs up of what percentage of revenue or turnover should be dedicated towards cybersecurity?
Yes. The research has found that we need to at least dedicate at least 30% of our revenue to cybersecurity, because
it's a lot.
That's your main assets. I like giving the example that I was training some people from a big organization, and they highlighted to me that they make over 100 million a month. And if their system is down per week, in a week, they are losing over 20 million. And if they don't spend at least 20% or 30% to safeguard, so that they continue doing business. Because a cyber attack can cripple or even bring down your business completely, because you lose reputation, you lose money, and you get sued, and you lose future customers. Because if I know that such and such a bank, when you open, your money gets stolen, imagine the reputation. A new
reputation damage.
Yeah, reputation damage. A new entrant, a new employee wouldn't even think twice to go and open an account with you. They will want to open with an organization where they know their money will be safe.
Okay. So in terms of training, what training do you afford entrepreneurs and companies to beef up their cybersecurity?
The main one is just the basic one, non-technical one, just cyber awareness training. Because the mistake that organizations do, they hire the most qualified IT people and they buy the best IT equipment, but they never train their end users, the people who process the data, the people who transmit the data,
the messengers, the accountants.
Those are your handlers of your data.
Yeah.
You should equip them with the skills to protect your data, how to at least to know how to identify a phishing scam, at least to know how to protect your data, at least to know how to send your information securely. So that kind of training costs at least a 1,000 puller to just train your people, your end users to have that kind of skill, so that they protect your information. And then we have other trainings where you can equip now your IT people to be equipped with the skills to protect your company information, like your IT people. The other one which we normally neglect or leave behind is the investigation part, because Mr. Mogobe, if the American government, if Apple, if Microsoft can be hacked, obviously...
And you're talking about things that have been in the news in the past.
Yes. If those big companies can be hacked with all the money to buy the best security equipment in the world, for sure we can also be hacked. And it's just a matter of time of when. But then after that incident, do you have someone within your organization who can trace to find out how did we get hacked? How much damage was it? And can we prevent such from happening in the future? And that course that can equip people with that skill is called computer hacking forensic investigator, so that they can investigate how the hackers gained entry.
Are you able to share an incident or a case where you were able to your company was part of the investigation,
Yes.
and where something significant was discovered.
Yes, last year we were involved in investigating a big case where large sums of money were stolen, over 2 million, and we had to seize more than more than 9 digital devices, extracted them for evidence, and then we were able to produce a report and give our clients, and they've been able to know what happened. The main problem is not knowing what happened. I'm happy to say that we are able to assist them. They knew who did what, when, how.
Okay, so you came in and you were able to, just by going through the history of the activities in each device,
Yes.
be able to tell.
Yes, because with the digital forensic technology, we are able to even if you have deleted the messages, even if you have deleted the evidence, these softwares or tools that we use are able to extract the information, even deleted ones, and then we are able to analyze them and give them as evidence that, well, this is the person who did this, this is the person who did this on such and such a date, and they were in partnership or in connection with so and so.
So it's true that the internet never forgets. It's got the memory of an elephant, or,
Yes.
or even more.
There is always a footprint. We call it, there is always a digital footprint that is left behind. There is a trace for everything that happens on the digital space.
Okay. What about this field of yours professionally? I always want to encourage my listeners and my viewers to look for opportunities. What opportunities are available in this space?
If I may tell you, Mr. Mogobe, there are less than 60 certified ethical hackers in Botswana, and the demand
less
is
than 60 means
less
what,
than
59?
Yeah. Well, the last time I checked, which was last year December, we were 53, and all of them are employed. But the companies are looking for people with those certifications and those qualifications. There's shortage of them in the market. So there's a great opportunity in this field. We have
a lot of graduates in IT. So are you saying they should just scale up their qualifications or their expertise?
Yes, I encourage them to do that, because there is demand, but there's no supply. There's a big shortage of people in the security field. People should understand that IT security is an independent, and it's a big field on its own. People just believe that any IT person can just apply security to your information. It's not like that. There have to be professionals who do a whole 4 years course of just strictly dealing with security. And there's a great opportunity in the industry, like I'm saying.
Is there any kind of accreditation in Botswana from the likes of BQA or something?
Yes, there's a university that provides cyber security as an undergraduate. I know of Botu, they have network and computer forensics course. But then, for them to be very competent in the market, they have to do some certifications, because some cyber security certifications give you the hands-on, the practical, so that you become the job ready for the market out there. You use the latest tools you use. So there is an international institution called EC Council. So I'm proud to say we are an EC Council accredited training center in Botswana. We are also accredited by BQA. We provide EC Council certifications and training, which young people out there can do, certify, and then become eligible to work as cybersecurity professionals.
I heard it said that sometimes in this field you need very good hackers. So you need them to convert from becoming, if you like, malevolent hackers to become benevolent hackers.
Yes.
How true is that, and how do you change them?
Very true. At EC Council, they say you need to be a hacker. You need to think like a hacker to stop hackers. You need to employ the same tools that malicious hackers use to be able to stop them. That's why we have the term ethical hackers. We call ourselves ethical hackers because we do hacking with the sole purpose of protecting your data. We check if your systems and solutions are robust enough to withstand cybersecurity assault, and we test them from an outside perspective, same way malicious hackers will do. And then we advise that no, this is what you should do, this is how you should patch. So there are types of hackers. We have black hat hackers. Those are malicious hackers. Those who do with the sole purpose of defrauding or stealing your information, or with malice intent.
Or just for the fun of
it. So those who do for the fun of it, we call them script kiddies.
Script?
Kiddies.
Yeah. Who
just do for fun, who experiment, who do not have the high-end technical skills.
That's the second category.
Yeah, that's
black
second.
hackers,
and
kiddies.
Then Crips kiddies, and then we have white hat hackers, which is us, ethical hackers who do for security purposes. And then we have those are in between, gray hat hackers. I'm
concerned about the labeling here. The bad one is black and the good one is white.
Is white. Well, yeah, that's how
that's the nature of the beast.
nature of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now let's get back to Botswana specifically. Is there local expertise being developed? Is there capacity being developed to really deal with these threats?
Well,
in the field of cybersecurity.
The example I always give is before COVID. The question should be: do you think we have the capacity to feed ourselves as Botswana?
The answer is nobody thought much about it.
Nobody thought much about it. We always thought, well, we're not producing enough. Mainly because we were not entrusting our own people to produce and develop. The same applies in the cybersecurity field. There are professionals out there, IT qualified people, but our people are not entrusted and equipped with the skills to protect our data. In fact, what is happening, our IT professionals locally are disgruntled because they are just, fix my mouse, my printer is not connecting. The real work,
dealing with small problems.
Small problems. The real job of protecting data is outsourced to international companies. But what I always say is, even if you can bring the best trained police officer from, let's say, United States of America, from LAPD, you bring them, you send them to Mogobe, they will struggle to solve the cases, mainly because of the culture, the environment. They do not understand the climate, everything. So even with cybersecurity, we need to empower our people and entrust them to protect our data. They understand the environment, they understand the challenges, they understand the technology, and just the culture. Because in America, there's no culture of sharing passwords, if I may give an example. But here, well, it's not a big deal to...
Well, for me it is. For some people,
yeah, for some people. Even within organizations, because I used to work somewhere and people were just, if someone was not at work, they did not come to work, the other person will just call, can you give me your password so that I can be able to help a client? And the other party will be just willingly give them the password so that so that's a big mistake. So that's why I say the culture, people, our own people will understand the culture, will understand the environment, will understand the challenges. So we just need to equip them and give them the resource to protect our data.
Okay, so what do you tell companies in terms of developing trust to empower and to entrust data protection to locals?
Well, same as we did during agriculture. Do what you call mentor them. Bring someone who's been do what you call transferring of knowledge, transferring of skills, so that they understand the importance of being high-end professionals in this industry. We should entrust them, and also The Data Protection Act is going to help in that regard. More so that now we are in the era of info warfare or cyber warfare. I believe you
America
always
versus China.
yes, I believe you always hear of America accusing China that they are stealing their intellectual property through hackers and the like. Well, in Botswana, there are no hackers stealing our information. We are the ones just handing our information to people from outside.
Through what? Through weak defenses or through weak systems?
Also through entrusting them, foreigners. Our security is in the hands of foreigners. Instead of buying the solutions and then giving the solutions to our security personnel here and entrusting the security with our people, so that when there is something, you know, I can always call Douglas from Mahalape. Where is this? Is what happened. Right, as it is today. Most companies, when you report something, they say, well, we have to log a complaint with our supporting company, which is in the US, and they are using a different time zone, and we have to wait. Well, digital evidence is volatile. Digital evidence is volatile. A minute goes by, you'll have lost the evidence.
So let's talk about e-detectives. You've been running the company now for how long?
The company was formed in 2013, but it became heavily active in 2015. Okay. Where now I was off work and now doing full-time, running it full-time.
Okay, tell us what the vision for it is. If you could, as it were, look 5 to 10 years, what's the vision for e-detectives?
Well, the vision was to be the leader in cybersecurity in Botswana and across SADC. Because what motivated me to form e-detective was that I realized that most of our information, like I'm saying, is entrusted in the hands of foreigners. Our own people, we have to wait for people to protect our own data, which didn't make sense to me. It's like, imagine the president was to hire security people from another country, and then those people obviously can still, they'll always be loyal to their country. They can always steal secrets and give to their country. And if we are competing for the same resources, we are competing for the same opportunities with those countries, it doesn't make sense when they have everything of ours and our security is in their hands. So that what motivated me to start e-detective, that I don't want people who are just men in the middle, briefcase people who just come and then when you ask them a question, they always say, we'll have to wait for our technical person from such and such a country to come and explain. I wanted to be the one who's responsible, who have the technical know-how, or to be able to assist the customers here and there.
So what is the vision then for the company long term, medium to long term? Yes,
the vision now is to have e-detective supporting local businesses to safeguard their data, to be the one, the leader in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Yes.
Lastly, do you think the government is doing enough to help and to, you know, to support the companies such as yourself in this field find their way and establish themselves? Or you think more should be done?
Yeah, obviously more should be done, but with the current administration, you know, I'm happy to say there have been steps which are showing improvement, that we are engaged more through programs like EDD.
What is that?
EDD is for to give priority. It's a government system where local suppliers and consultants are given priority over foreign companies when it comes to supplying or doing business with the government. So, for example, up to 10 million projects, the government is making sure that local companies should be given a priority. So through such initiatives, we are now seeing other government entities, even the private sector, engaging us, knowing that, well, we need to engage e-detectives instead of having an international company come and do a job which we have the capacity to do. And also with the introduction of the Data Protection Act, which prohibits the cross-border overflow of data without our permission, also helps that, well, you need to entrust our data here. You need to keep our data here. So if our data is here, you obviously need to employ or deploy or engage companies which are local to protect our data.
My experience has always been on the area of enforcement. Is the act really being strictly enforced? Do they have the mechanisms for enforcement?
Yes, hence the reason I say there's lots of room for improvement. We have such statute and such policies, but the main problem has been implementation of such projects. So for putting on my entrepreneurship hat, we fight. We have to bring all those legislators or those policies to procurement people and say, you are obliged to engage me instead of seeking assistance from outside when we are here and we fully qualify.
We have the capacity.
Yeah, we have the capacity, yes.
Okay. All right. This is the time of the show, sir, where you get a chance to... Oh, before we do, has there been any what I call COVID dividend that has come from COVID? In other words, has there been an identifiable advantage that COVID has created? I don't want just to be talking about gloom and doom from COVID. Is there a COVID dividend in the cybersecurity space?
Most definitely, Mr. Mogobe. Because of COVID, all business now has moved from the physical space to the virtual space. We are now doing business online. Everything, communication, transactions, everything is now done on the digital space. Now cybersecurity is now a must. It's no longer a luxury. It's a must. You have to protect your data. And also the increase of cyber crime, cyber threats, those cases have now made organizations to be alert that, well, I think we have to invest in cybersecurity now. So because of COVID, we have seen a growth in our business. We are engaged a lot because in 5 years ago when we started, we moved around, dropped CVs, tried to explain to people. They were like, oh, okay, we'll call you when you need you. But now, since COVID, they are taking out our profiles. There's someone who once came here, said he was Douglas. He could help with securing this information. So now people are calling us because of COVID. So
okay. All right. No, you've answered me well.
Yes.
This is a part of the show where you get to ask me any question you wish to ask.
Yes. Yeah. I can always see, follow you, Mr. Mogobe. You have you interview established entrepreneurs and also aspiring ones. I want to ask if, is there a platform where you bring both parties together, the established one to mentor and give advice to those who are aspiring so that they can also turn out to be successful entrepreneurs in the future?
Well, it has not been systematized or done in a systematic fashion, but yes, there's been efforts in that regard. I was working with an outfit known as Founders Dinner, where we used to have founders come and speak here and acknowledge us. We've had them to tell us how they traversed this difficult entrepreneurial field. I, for one, was invited as a founder, and then we invited Mr. Naik from Flowtech, who had to share his story. We also invited Mr. Mpuchane from Builders World to share his story. We've had my neighbor, Mr. Muni, here to come and tell us the Trans-Africa story. So that was an effort that was going on with the help of a young man called Matsero Letola, who unfortunately had to stop because of COVID, and I'm urging him to revive it. So that is one way where young, aspiring entrepreneurs can meet with captains of industry
Yes.
and learn directly from the horse's mouth how things are done. Other efforts that I'm undertaking are through the auspices of ANB, Angel Network Botswana, which is a group of investors, angels who are putting their funds together to invest in budding businesses. And the way they do it is that they go through certain processes, including mentorship, where you find that most of the entrepreneurs who are coming to us thinking that they're looking for money are not looking for money, they're
Yes.
looking for mentorship.
Yes.
And it becomes very clear that the problem is one of resourcefulness as opposed to resources.
Yes.
So we are offering some of that through our mentorship. I myself, with Mr. Guru Gurumuti, we're part of the mentorship committee. And this is another way of giving back. I'm also involved, I think you saw a young man earlier
Yes.
here
Yes.
who is my mentee, and on Sundays I meet some of them. I was trying to look at ways of doing them in bigger groups and perhaps even monetizing it to a point where somebody pays a nominal amount for me to provide mentorship services. And it's something that me and my executive assistant Lebo were putting together a program
Yes.
to actually offer mentorship. And then every time I'm invited to speak, within reason, I come and I share my ideas, and I try to live the best example I can. I don't always win, but I think the best way to teach is basically through example. Yes.
Yes.
And this platform, the Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom, is yet another way of giving back to the community. So I do hope that I've answered your question.
Yeah, you most definitely have answered my question, and I can attest to that. That myself also, as an aspiring entrepreneur, I've been struggling for quite some time. Only after having a mentor, I got to realize that, well, it wasn't really money that I needed. I only needed guidance and advice to be able to that knowledge that you pass on to us is priceless, Mr. Mogobe. We appreciate that, and my mentors triggered something within me that is pushing me to want to do more and to achieve more.
Your mentor is the one who pushed me to
Yes.
pushed you to meet for this show.
For this show.
That's good. He's a
Yes,
good man.
He's a good man.
Send my
indeed.
regards.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
definitely do.
Now look at that camera there, and tell that youngster, that entrepreneur, whoever is watching, something inspirational, something motivational, something uplifting as a takeaway from this show.
Yes. I will say two things. As a cybersecurity person, cybersecurity threats are real, and we are experiencing high number of cases every day. People are losing money, people are losing their data, confidential information is leaking. So we engage, we encourage companies out there and entrepreneurs to make a step to protect their data. Train your staff. And as an entrepreneur, to young people out there, I say stay persistent. Be persistent, be resilient, fight and work hard. And also make sure that you have the passion for what you do. Because during the dark days, that's when you have the energy to go to work because you love what you do. Don't just do it for the money. Do it because you love it, and do it because you want to make a difference.
Thank you very much. That is very powerful. How do people now get hold of you? How do they get in touch with your business?
Yes, e-Detectives, we are located at Red Cross Building, Office 101, in plot 135 along Independence Avenue. Our website is www.edetectives.co.bw. We are on Facebook, e-Detectives, and then you can also contact me directly on my number at 73-233-490.
Okay, just tell them why they should watch Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast.
You should watch Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast to learn more about businesses and entrepreneurship, to be motivated most importantly. We get to be inspired, to get some inspiration. When you hear it from the people who are established, when you hear it from the people who are aspiring, because for sure I'll make it, and you will know that, oh, he was aspiring and he has graduated to be an established business person. So you to learn more, to have life tips, business tips,
Please
entrepreneurship
subscribe.
tips, subscribe to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom on YouTube, Facebook, and even LinkedIn.
Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Mogobe.
All right.